Family and friends are mourning the loss of a Myrtle Point woman killed in a dog attack. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jaewon Jung. Her name is Amber LaBelle, and she's the mother of 2 girls. KZI9 News reporter Grace Smith is live at Myrtle Point near where the attack happened. Grace, what can you tell us?
Jaewon, this is truly a heartbreaking story. Just on the other side of this apartment complex off of Spruce Street is where Amber and her 2 daughters lived, and it's also where the attack took place. Neighbors tell me on Friday morning around 10 a.m. Amber was attacked by a gray pit bull. I'm told this wasn't her dog. Neighbors say Amber was life-flighted to Riverbend, where she went into surgery. There, she was reportedly put on life support and given 24 hours to live. Unfortunately, Amber didn't make it and passed away the next morning at 4 a.m. I spoke to a friend of Amber's who is heartbroken tonight.
She went way too young, and I hope for the best for her girls and that they can cope with it.
Alan tells me Amber's children meant everything to her. This is a small town, so everyone knew Amber, and they are deeply saddened by this. Now, Jaewon, everyone that I spoke with today are just so heartbroken about this, and they tell me that they just can't believe that this happened. Reporting in Myrtle.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, and just in case you were wondering, everyone is heartbroken, and they cannot believe this happened. We hope that the children can cope with the loss of their mother. Now you have 2 girls without a mother, and all we can talk about is, oh, how heartbroken. This is so terrible. What an unfortunate situation. I hope the kids can cope with this. On to other news. Yet another story traditionally glossed over, where the real problem is never discussed. It's so weird. It's almost as if they have taken a silent oath to never question the presence of dogs in our society. You notice that it's almost like they have congregated among themselves and made that decision, where it's a silent law. All you can talk about is how heartbreaking it was. Oh, it's so unfortunate. You know, they talk about it like, oh, she just had a heart attack. Oh, she was walking outside and got struck by lightning. Oh, that's so heartbreaking. If it's some type of natural problem, accident, stories like this that are covered like this would make sense. Oh man, that's so heartbreaking. But no, in this situation, it is a predator. And you notice how they wanted to point out that it wasn't her dog. What difference does that make when most people are attacked by their own dog? They threw that in there as if to suggest that that's part of the reason she was attacked. No, most people are attacked by their own dog. Raising a mutt is not going to make that mutt harmless. And it's another pit bull, as usual, which is why they need to be banned all across the world. It's hard to find a dog attack where a pit bull was not involved. But this infuriated me. Yes, just a fresh story with a brand new stupidity. And it always hits me. It never ceases to amaze me how they seem to bend over backwards to avoid criticizing or questioning the presence of dogs. You have no idea. I can't even put it into words. But this is not what I want to talk about on this video. I want to talk about an article that just surfaced today that infuriated me. Read to a Dog program returns to a public library. So this is a program, Read to a dog. Henry McDevitt, 8 years old, reads to a therapy mutt. Henry has been taking part in this program for the past 3 years. People, let's stop right there, please. Reading to a mutt for the past 3 years. Now, what's the purpose of reading? This is a form of communication. Humans, we communicate to get and pass information, right? We soak in and process what other people say, and they do the same with the things that we say. So this is intelligence training. It's especially for young children, 8 years old in this case. So look at how much time this boy has wasted reading to a worthless mutt that has been given treats over and over and over every time it goes into a room and lays down like that. This is not helping these kids. What's the point? This is nothing but dog nut training. In fact, this probably hurts their intelligence, cause their intelligence to regress because they are not getting proper feedback from the entity that they're communicating with. If you're going to get kids to use language at a time when their vocabulary is developing, you don't have them read to no mutt. This is just another perfect example of dog nuttery. These weird people being obsessed, unreasonably obsessed with these ugly, goofy, good-for-nothing, oversized rats, rodents, mutants. The worship and adoration of these useless, ugly things is, it's like something I can't even compare it to anything else on earth. You know, in general, humans are not this obsessed with any other living organism and have not been ever in history. This is unprecedented nuttery right here. So you got a 6-year-old, a child whose vocabulary is developing even more, a 4-year-old, seriously developing their vocabulary. And it's not simply a matter of developing your vocabulary. It is about getting adapted to communicating with other humans. Training yourself on how to deliver the things you want to say. It's a practice of social interactions. This is valuable, valuable time. Wasted. If you have these kids, why don't you have them reading to each other? What's the point in reading to a dog? This is an act of training kids to be dog nuts. They're doing this for dogs. This does nothing beneficial for these kids. All it does is hurt them, causes them to stagnate, their intelligence to stagnate. And they will grow up and be socially awkward, socially dysfunctional, because you're raising them on this artificial form of social interactions. This really spits into the face of our very use of language. And this is just one article, and look how many photos they wanted to upload of this mutt. This is nothing but dog obsession. Look, this is the book that they have on display. It is titled How to Talk to Your Dog. Get a load of that. And they put this book on display. Look at it. As if dogs are so special. Oh, these are our little angels. Let's teach our kids how to talk to them. Nobody is standing up against this weird, self-destructive nuttery. And it is so infuriating. Let me calm down. Let me calm down so I can finish this video. So this was on display. The mutt waits for a patron to start reading to her during the weekly, as if the dog knows what you're saying. This is an absolute waste of time. Waste of very valuable time. These are the most precious years of our life when we are 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. You take advantage of these years by getting kids used to communicating to each other. It is a fact that people in the United States in general, there's a lot of people with social dysfunctions, people who have difficulty communicating, people who have an increase of anxiety in social settings. We as people here in America, we are already behind. We're dealing with far too many social dysfunctions for you to be raising kids on a diet of reading to dogs. It might seem harmless on the surface. This is an absolute outrage. This is outrageous. And it's times like this that make me thankful that I don't have kids, because I would not tolerate this type of foolery. So they have these kids wasting valuable, precious time when they could be reading to other students and getting reactions from those students, getting smiles, laughter, having some of the students ask the reader if they could repeat something, getting adapted to interacting and bonding with other students. So this goes beyond mere social dysfunction. This can help to make or produce more peaceful citizens, more intelligent citizens, citizens who are better listeners, citizens who have very fine communication skills. Why would you jeopardize these moments when these kids should be polishing their communication skills? That's a lot different than simply reading. We as humans communicate, and these kids cannot practice communication, social interactions with dogs. And I'm going to send a letter. I'm going to find this library and I'm going to object. I'm going to write however long the letter or email needs to be. And I hope you do the same. You know, stuff like this, if they were to get a sudden influx of emails when they do stuff like this, people, we already have the ability, because We have the numbers, and our numbers are growing. We have to start doing as much as possible. We have started, right? Let's take credit for we've started. Now it is about knowing when to speak up, what to object to. This might seem innocent. A lot of people may have looked over it, but this is an absolute outrage. These kids are being held back from growing as rapidly as they could, and maybe even growing to be as intelligent as they probably would. Because if you waste these precious years during the time when their brain is rapidly growing and collecting information, it'll be very difficult later in life to try to train them and improve their social skills. And I wanted to point something out, that you're not even teaching these kids true companionship. Because like I said, these dogs were simply given treats hundreds of times for sitting down, sitting still. This is not real friendship, companionship, or anything like that. Stop lying to our youth. Stop giving them fake relationships. Stop giving them fake ears, telling them that it is listening to what they're saying. This is training people to be a brainless, thoughtless dog nut. And this is one of the areas I definitely want to throw a monkey wrench into. Stop you during the childhood training. How to train dogs to detect sadness. Now, a lot of these dog nuts, they get off when they want to talk about how wonderful dogs are. Hey, it'll detect when you're sad. That must mean that dogs are emotional creatures, right? They're loving. That's proof of their heart, their big heart. And all you have to do is Google how to train dogs to detect sadness. The first thing you're going to see is use a treat. And notice, I did not put the word treat anywhere in the search engine, and they put the word treat in bold lettering. Why? Because they're telling you it's all about the food. Use a treat as a reward and as a lure to train your mutt to get down off the couch, to get it to do everything. They taking these photos of this ugly mutt as if in the dog's mind it's thinking about how wonderful the kids are. Oh, I love the stories that the kids are reading to me. Nothing on this mutt's mind but food. They had to train these mutts to come in, lay down, and to stay there, and to not do nothing, to never stand up. And when they would do that, they give it a treat. If it doesn't sit down, it doesn't stay there, it doesn't get a treat. And they do this hundreds of times. And now you want to imply to kids that this thing is actually listening to you tell a story? Absolutely outrageous. And I wanted to rant about this. I really can't even articulate, and it's disappointing. I cannot articulate how disappointed I am and how destructive this is. I can't even put it into words. But these people should not get off the hook. They should not have a free pass to do this. Now, this is the Hingham Public Library. Now, I should have done my due diligence before I started this video, but don't worry. I will put the library's location and contact information in the description box as we continue with this crusade against these useless, worthless dogs and their enabling, obsessed owners.